With the 2022 season concluding over a month ago now, I feel like it's finally time to give y'all the quote-unquote ultimate season recap. Then and at the end of the video, I'll give y'all my overall thoughts and opinions on the season as a whole. Now, to make sure we're clear, I am going to be reviewing the season as a whole, but I'm not going to be talking about each race on their own or stuff like that, because I already tried that before. It would take too long, so I'm just going to be going on over this season. But however, I will talk about some of the landmark races for the season, like the 500 and some other races that are important in the grand scheme of things. Anyways, this is probably going to be my longest video yet, and it'll be my final video of 2022, so let's get right into it. Now, it is very important to know that this was the very first year of NASCAR's new car, the Next Gen car. Yeah, they were really creative on the name. The car was done differently than the previous cars. First of all, NASCAR themselves would build the chassis, and really most of the car themselves, while teams bought the parts and fully assembled the car. Okay. Plus there was more downforce to the car. There was a completely flat bottom, which I'm pretty sure was made to add downforce. There was single lug nut tires, as you can see right there. And this car was mainly made to be better on stuff like the road courses and the super speedways. And I think it was mainly made to be good on the road courses. At least that's what they kept on saying. I sure hope this doesn't cause any future problems. But let's continue. With each season, there is a beginning. And of course, every NASCAR season begins with the Daytona 500. The Next Gen car's debut race after being delayed a full entire season. And honestly, it was a very interesting one. And just honestly seeing one of the main problems I have with it right here. Like, you see how easily all the cars in the back just broke away from the group? Oop. And honestly, even though it seems pretty intense here, there was actually some single file racing. I'm going to show you guys a clip of it. This is what I'm talking about. You see the freight train? So, and this went on for basically the entirety of the first two stages. So honestly, the first two stages weren't anything great. That inside lane was just dropping like a rock. But then the car had never been fully driven in a giant 40-car pack. There had been in pack racing shown in tests, but never once on a super speedway did it have the entire field. Because again, Next Gen car's debut. So it gets a pass for it, and plus the final stage is pretty damn good, ending with this finish.
Briscoe's out. He can't get to Austin Cindric, whose grandfather won the Indy 500 as a car owner. Cindric is going to bring them to the line way up high to block Ryan Blaney, and at the line, Cindric beats Bubba Wallace by half a car length, and they crash going into turn one.
So yeah, overall, the car could probably use some work for the super speedways, and honestly, more specifically Daytona. But it would find its strength, that being the intermediate tracks. No one ever expected it. Races like Las Vegas, and I guess you can potentially count Atlanta, were good. And although at first I didn't really like the Auto Club race, which is the one I'm showing you, it eventually came around on me. And for a car that's made specifically for road course racing, it got tested at COTA, which was also a pretty entertaining race in my opinion. But unfortunately, we were about to find one of the car's biggest weaknesses. Short track racing. What I am currently showing you is a clip from the spring Martinsville race. And if you've seen a race at Martinsville, you know that this is pretty uneventful. And even Richmond the previous week was nothing phenomenal, with the race coming down to strategy. I couldn't speak for a second. Again. It was very clear that the car was not built with short track racing in mind. And because, again, a car that was made to benefit with the road courses and super speedways, for a car that is benefited on that, short tracks really got left out of the equation. And it took a very bad hit. They took a very bad hit overall. Because even though they did get better throughout the year, they still were not up to par with last year. And I'm just want to quickly say, I'm sorry I'm making all these mistakes. I'm bad at speaking. Besides that, the car was actually starting to put on some pretty damn good races. Bristol Dirt, as I'm showing you right now, is honestly one of the best races of the 2022 season. And this came right after Martinsville, so honestly, it was a shock. Then Talladega was a massive improvement over the 500 in every way. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But I only say that because if I kept going, I would be here for about 4 hours. And the broadcasting wasn't doing that bad either. Mainly because Fox actually seemed like they were trying. Hooray! Another thing with Fox that I liked is that after Jeff Gordon left the booth at the end of last season, they decided they just went, fuck it. Let's make the third commentator rotational. We had a lot of people in the booth thanks to this. Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Jeff Gordon, he came back for a raise. Chad Canals, Jamie McMurray, and a lot of other people all joined the booth. Even Dale Jr. How the heck did that happen? But without a doubt, the most important one of them all, the best one, and the one that we all needed, Dale Walter came back for the booth in this race.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys! There it is!
I'm happy they announced they're doing this again next year. I know a lot of people wanted McMurray to fill that third commentator slot full time. And admittedly, he was pretty damn good when he filled in for the Coke 600, which, spoiler it, is the best race of the season. But I love the idea of a revolving door of guest commentators. Plus, any excuse to potentially bring back DW into the booth for the Bristol Dirt race is a win in my book. But that's enough of that. Even into the summer months and the switch from Fox to NBC, car continued to put on great races, and the broadcasting was only getting better thanks to NBC taking it a little more seriously than Fox. But that is perfectly fine with me. And the controversies in the car slowed down, and overall everyone was having a great time. Well, that was until Pocono happened. And I know us NASCAR fans tend to kind of disagree a lot. But I don't care who you are. You cannot deny what I'm about to say. Pocono was the exact moment everything started to go downhill. And it all started right here.
Brother, Kurt Busch, still as good as he's ever been behind the wheel of a race car. Yep. And you'd think that Kurt could go as...
Oh, hang on to it, Kurt. Hard into the wall. Wow.
That was a hard hit for that right rear quarter panel, and you see the damage. That was coming to the green flag, and this is going to force everyone else on the track to come.
Kurt Busch suffered this crash that, if you've been watching NASCAR for a long period of time, this looks eerily similar to Tommy Dale Jr.'s crash that gave him concussions. But unlike those crashes, and despite the noise that made, Kurt didn't hit the wall hard enough to sustain a concussion. Or at least, it wouldn't have been in the old car. And now, it is time to tell the next-gen car's biggest flaw. The safety. The biggest flaw this next-gen car has is the fact that NASCAR designed these cars to be more durable, and kind of more stiff, to quote-unquote lower the amount of DNFs. Which, spoiler it, didn't work. There were more DNFs than ever. And this only caused the car to have far less crushing zones. And if you wonder what a crushing zone means, is that the car is taking a lot less of the impact. And instead, it's the drivers that are suffering much more, I guess, force, much more momentum of the crash. So they're taking in a lot more pain. So the car is not taking as much damage. It's actually the drivers. And this was especially evident at the back of the car, the area where Kurt Busch hit. And this caused Kurt Busch to suffer a concussion, and he would go on to sit out the rest of the season. And unfortunately, it led to this.
My ability to go out and race at the top level of the NASCAR Cup Series. These are the best of the best drivers, and lately, I haven't felt my best. The doctors have come to the conclusion that it's best for me to shut it down for this season. And even though I've made solid gains and been working with all the top specialists and the team at Toyota Performance Center, I'm still not 100%, and I'm still not cleared to race.
Kurt Busch, a NASCAR Cup Series champion, a proven winner, had his career ended, all thanks to a dangerous design flaw with the next gen car. Kurt, you were a great driver, and I'm really sorry that this happened to you. But what makes this even worse is that after his crash, several drivers came out and said that crashing this car is a lot more painful than it was in the Gen 6. Denny Hamlin actually sat out an plain Xfinity start because of back pains after suffering a crash. Sorry about that. But that wasn't all of the controversies from Pocono. As Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, who went on to win the dang race, Hamlin won the race, Kyle Busch finished second, but they both dominated it. They were disqualified for having an extra layer of tape over each corner of the front facade and of the wheel openings. Which is what gave them a aerodynamic or speed advantage. It's one of the two. I cannot remember. I did such a bad job writing this script. In the end, Chase Elliott was declared the winner, despite not leading a single freaking lap. What the hell did these guys do? But besides that, we all hoped this race was a one-off, and that the racing would become good again, and that the controversies won't continue happening. They continued happening. And, little did we know, this was just the beginning. Not only were the problems of the next-gen car starting to get exposed big time, but even the racing started to get bad. In my opinion, after Pocono, we had just one good race before the playoffs began. That being Michigan. The race started to get bad. The flaws in the new car were being shown in real time. And even NASCAR themselves was starting to get inconsistent. Consistent. And yeah, sure, NASCAR does change inconsistencies with both their rules and the officiating of races. But it seems to have gotten worse lately. And no one was that made any more appear. And then right here at the regular season finale at Daytona.
3. He's got some help with him.
Oh, into the wall they go. The 11 now also caught up in it. Oh, Haley. The 3 of Austin Dillon squeezes through. He is in front. And look at virtually the only car to clear it. Unbelievable.
Now, if you have no freaking idea what the hell just happened, let me tell you. As it turned out, it was raining in both turns 1 and 2. And the moment the cars entered the corner, all hell broke loose. You want to know what made this all NASCAR's fault? Multiple drivers reported it started to rain in those exact turns the lap prior. And even some fans pointed it out.
Oh my God! Oh, they're gonna crash! It's raining! It's raining! It's raining! It's raining! It's raining!
However, other drivers like Justin Haley and Chris Buescher were saying that it was raining. It was raining. Why isn't caution being thrown?
Here it comes again. Here comes help finally. And it just started raining up here. Work hard, man. Work hard.
So he's saying it's raining.
So yeah, you can literally see it raining. And look where they are. They're on the fucking backstretch. In the end, Austin Dillon, who barely avoided the wreck, won the race and kicked out Montrex Jr. But now we could start the playoffs. And I tell you, if Pocono was when the season started to go downhill, this is officially where it falls apart. Like the last couple of years, we start the playoffs at Darlington. And despite the fact the last few weeks have been complete hell, well, everything was actually going alright. For the first 275 laps, then everything hit the fan.
Going up on the front straightaway, down into turn 1, Kevin Harvick. My rocker panel's on fire.
Yeah, big flames coming out from underneath the hood of Harvick.
So he's got no motor issue. It's rubber buildup underneath the race car. It's caught on fire.
And we are back at Darlington where the leader, Martin Truex Jr., has just come on the radio to say he has lost power steam. He can't do anything. A huge, huge disappointment for what was...
Adam's going to say, is there smoke coming out of the 18? Coming out of the pipes. The 18 is blowing up. Oh, my God.
What's going on? It is unbelievable the number of playoff drivers that have had problems tonight. That's going to put Eric Jones at the start of this field. He won here in 2019. The fans are going crazy. They are either love or hate Kyle Busch as a fan.
In the blink of an eye, 3 cars were taken out of the race. And Kevin Harvick actually fell victim to another design flaw with the next-gen car. Remember I said the bottoms of these cars were basically completely sealed and covered? This was also done to reduce dirty air. I forgot to mention that. But honestly, all it really did was cause problems. First off, this was believed to cause the car is getting airborne easily. And secondly, the rubber tends to build up in the assembly box after a while. And usually, thanks to the open bottoms, it would escape, which is why on tracks you'd usually see some rubber. But thanks to the sealed bottom, it can't escape. So when the rubber catches on fire, basically the entire car also catches on fire. This incident, along with a DNF due to a blown tire at Kansas, caused Harvick to get eliminated in the first round. And for Montrex Jr. and Kyle Busch, that's a little more interesting. Because if I'm being perfectly honest, J.J.'s engine department must have been slacking. Because not only is it completely unheard of for an engine to fail under caution, which is what happened. This wasn't the last time it happened. It all happened at Bristol. And thanks to those two incidents, as well as a spin at Kansas, this Kyle Busch was also eliminated in the first round. Thankfully, Kansas will be problem-free for the most part. That wouldn't last long. Because at Bristol, we would see another problem. The tires. I'm not going to try to find them because I haven't found them all in this race. I found them all in the next race. Wait, I just spoiled the next race. But I don't know what the hell Goodyear was doing this season, but honestly, they freaking disgusted me of how bad their tires were. We saw them all the top times that season, but they were really down bad at Bristol. Let's just go through the rundown. Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, Joey Logano, J.J. Yaley, Harrison Burton, Brad Keselowski, and Christopher Bell, all blue tires. But luckily, outside of that, and JGR engines continuing to fail because they apparently forgot how to build engines, we didn't have that many problems. And this guy won.
Chris Buescher will win his second Cup Series race, and it happens at Bristol.
Yeah, like I said, the next week, we would see some peak bullshit. Texas Motor Speedway. If I'm being honest, despite it technically being my home track, right, because it's the only track in the state of Texas that NASCAR visits, rest in peace, Texas World, but despite that, it's arguably the worst track NASCAR currently goes to. And this year, it ended up being a complete fucking embarrassment for the sport, Goodyear, and the next gen car. Let's start this by just showing you all the tire problems, because again, these ones I actually found.
Away. Whoa, and he goes down. The 18 of Kyle pushes into the wall. It was the 8 of Reddick that was going down to avoid it. Telling you what the line should be. Caution has come out again, and the 20 slow on the track. Got a flat right rear tire on the 20. I don't see any damage.
Bring it to me now. Bring it to me now.
Bring it to me now. 41 now is also around. This is pretty late, though.
Both of them suffered flat tires.
Oh, and into the wall, the 9 of Chase Elliott. Out of third court, Chase Elliott into the wall. You see the fire coming out the right side. And he comes right back in front of the field.
Fire on the right side here.
Yeah, this thing.
Truex Jr. didn't make it into the playoffs. And up into the wall, the 4 blew a right rear tire.
Hold it. Hold the brake. Hold the brake. Hold the brake.
Kevin Harvick into the wall.
Stay up there if you can. Stay up there.
Coming at.
Race leader Martin Truex Jr. has just wrecked. He got into the wall. A right side tire went down.
That is literally 6 people who all blew tires. And then there's a situation that you guys are about to see coming up soon. It's not this angle. It's gonna be the next angle, hopefully. Wait, it should be coming. Why is it being so laggy? Oh, there it was. So basically, what happened is that on a restart, Denny Hamlin put William Byron in the wall. And then once the caution came out for Truex blowing a tire, William Byron sped up to Danny's back bumper and spun him out under caution. But the thing that NASCAR did wrong was that they actually penalized Denny Hamlin instead of Byron. Actually, Byron was later fined for it, but they appealed it and won, so it didn't really matter if they got fined or not. In my opinion, NASCAR is more than in the wrong simply because of the way they handled the incident. But however, without a doubt, the main controversy of Texas was this.
The
outside damage for Bowman.
Hang on a sec here.
And it happens in 3 and 4.
I can't drive the rest.
Around so quickly here, we'll ride low. I don't know if it's the bump. It looked like the bump upset the car. But
This crash, this minor looking crash, gave Alex Bowman concussion and eliminated him from the playoffs. Now, thankfully, it wasn't career-ending, but the fact of the matter remains, this incident proved that this car was completely unsafe and could barely handle rear-end crashes, even if they look minor. And it goes right back to like a crushing zones in the back of the car. And those crushing zones means more force gets put on the driver, especially during a crash. Hell, Bowman wasn't the only guy that got injured. Cody Ware broke his foot after having a severe crash at the outside wall in turn 4. I'm going to show you guys that right now.
Very difficult
we got a crash wreck in turn 4.
Another one in turn 4. And so more issues this time. It's Cody Ware, the 51. Look out on pit road. And that is a very difficult situation as
Sideways, back of the car around like he's spinning out right here in this shot, and then don't know why he was sideways, having mechanical issues, tired now, don't know, and then got turned to the right, head on into the wall.
But thankfully, this is the last of the slew of controversies that came out of Texas. And even more thankfully, Talladega and most of the show over was tame. That was until chaos ensued. So, if you don't know what's happening here, let me quickly give you the rundown. Kyle Larson was battling with Chase Briscoe and Austin Cindric for the final playoff spot. But Cindric spun out the previous lap, and as you can see, Briscoe was under fire from both Austin Dillon and Eric Jones. And at this exact moment, Kyle Larson had the final spot. That was until Cole Custer, or as I like to call him, Coleslaw Custer, held up all these three guys intentionally to get Briscoe to the next round over Larson. I know some people congratulate Coleslaw for doing this, but I hated it. Yeah, sure, maybe it's biased because Kyle Larson is my favorite driver, and I do understand why he did it. Did it because it's his teammate. But he also still told me something. That this is also what you do when you're a Cup Series failure. He doesn't even have a right. He's not even in the Cup Series next year. He's going back down to the Xfinity Series. But the pain for us Larson fans didn't end just yet. Because at the next race in Las Vegas, you already know what happened.
Off of turn 4 here.
into the wall goes Bubba Wallace. And he comes back across the track, tags the 5. They're both in the wall. The caution comes out.
Flips the 20 car of Christopher Bell.
Do I even need to explain it? Like, seriously. Do I have to? You can see what happens. But I might as well just bullshit my way explaining it. Kyle Larson accidentally makes contact with Bubba Wallace, who hits the wall slightly. Oh well, I'm gonna be mad, and he has every right to be mad in the moment. But then he just fucking speeds up. They prove it later in the broadcast. He speeds up, rear hooks Larson, sends both of them up the track, collects Eric Jones. I mean, not Eric Jones. Christopher Bell, who is basically Bubba Wallace's teammate. And then goes up and starts shoving Larson. Like, And I'm not sure if the broadcast showed it, but apparently at one point he pushed an official. And I'm just going to say what is the truth. I don't care who you are. This is the truth. What Bubba Wallace did is inexcusable. Yeah, sure. He had every right to be mad when Lawson put him in the wall. Oh, I would be pissed too if I got put in the wall. But that doesn't give him the fucking right to re-hook a guy and send him up the track, collecting a playoff driver who again is technically your teammate. Then you walk up to him and shove him and even push an official. You can't defend his actions here. I don't care who you are. You can't. It was a complete freaking reaction. And he never apologized to Lawson, at least not that I know of. And remember the previous two instances of... Remember what it took for Bowman to get a concussion? Had Bell not been there, obviously at the wrong time, Lawson likely hits the wall with the rear of the car and likely gets a concussion. Shit. After this, Bubba Wallace got one race suspension, which really is pretty light, but at least they actually did something. But then again, he got lucky that Lawson didn't have a concussion. Shit, because if the alternate universe scenario actually happened, we live in that scenario where Lawson rear ends the wall. Good chance Bubba Wallace might gets banned, but Bubba Wallace is lucky that he doesn't live in that universe. But hey, on the bright side, what happened next week?
That is until today. Kyle Larson comes off turn 4, and Larson will win at Homestead, Miami.
That, my friends, is what we call karma. But anyway, that's enough of me talking about that. And please, for the love of God, don't be racist in the comment section about this. I don't need my comments being any civil war. And if you're a Bubba Wallace fan that supports his actions here, I don't fucking need to hear it. But still, don't do that. Don't fucking flood the comment section. Don't harass me. I don't need that shit in my life. But anyway, let's continue. Martinsville. Martinsville is where the playoffs peaked for two reasons. One, here's reason one.
Into the championship.
That was Bell coming in clutch for the second time in these playoffs. And punches his ticket into the championship 4. And reason 2, you guys all know it by now.
And the fight for the points right at the line. The one of Chastain past Hamlin.
It was a video game move off into turn 3. He put the car against the wall wide open all the way around turn 3 and 4.
Chastain, Elliott, Bell, and Logano are going to fight for a championship in Phoenix. Take a look at what he did.
I have never seen anything like that before in my life.
Wide open.
I'm not exaggerating when I say this move made me more hyped than ever. I remember both me and my dad got off the couch. We were fucking screaming like we could not believe what we had just saw. It was awesome, but I hope, if I'm being really honest, I hope to God that doesn't happen at every track, because apparently it was not very fun, and it could have ended really badly, because apparently there's a gate over there that could have flung open. But besides that, it was set. Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, and Ross Chastain. And in the script, I fucking put Joey Logano twice. Yeah. Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, and Ross Chastain are the championship 4. Now let's see if this season will come to a thrilling conclusion. Why do I even bother? Phoenix. Of all the places they could have chosen, of any way they could have went to put the championship finale, they chose Phoenix. I'm not even gonna exaggerate. And I don't even know what exactly to say. This race was the most underwhelming way to end a season. This season, which at one point was the best season I have ever seen, ends on a very sour note. Joey Logano won the pole, led the most laps, and was completely unchallenged for the title, and won it all. All that build-up, all the waiting, all the surprises, the controversies, and the unpredictability of the first 35 races. In this race, it was virtually non-existent. There were no surprises, no intense battles, no real shake-up. Nothing. I'm sorry that I don't have that much to talk about in this technically ending segment, not including the conclusion. But this race was nothing. And it feels like nothing. There isn't much to talk about. And that's really freaking sad. Plus, I do need to mention something. I honestly not think about it. I probably should have said this at the very beginning of the video. But my prayers go out to the Gibbs family. As you can see Corey Gibbs, who is both the son of Ty Gibbs. I'm so sorry. The son of Joe Gibbs and the father of Ty Gibbs, who actually won the Xfinity title just the night before, passed away early Sunday morning of the race. Just hours after seeing his son win the Xfinity Championship. And I'm really sorry I forgot to mention that. I probably should have mentioned it at the very beginning of the video. And I wish the best for Corey Gibbs wherever he's going. And what's next for him in the afterlife. And to the Gibbs family, I hope Ty is doing alright. My prayers are with you, with all y'all on the Gibbs family. Even though we've had our disagreements that you guys never know we have, I hope y'all are doing okay. And I hope Corey Gibbs is happy. Knowing he got, in his final moments, he got to see his son win a championship. That is stuff that is probably even more heartwarming than just as heartwarming as Dale Sr. in his final moments seeing his best friend and his son on their way to finishing 1-2 in the 500 back in 01. That is, I hope you guys are doing okay. And I want to give and I just need to say rest in peace to Corey Gibbs. And I hope y'all are doing okay. And now let's wrap this video up. Let's wrap this video up with my closing thoughts. This season was weird. It was basically unpredictable all the time, except the final race. And the racing for the first half of the season was fantastic outside of a few blunders. But then it just fell apart. The racing got worse. The almost fatal flaws in the next gen car were being exposed left and right. The tires were barely holding up, and there were constant controversies throughout the second half. And honestly, if you ask me, I think it will always come back to Pocono when it comes to the season falling apart. It always comes back to Pocono. It's almost like the moment Kurt Busch crashed in practice, it was like, it was just downhill from there. Then, of course, NASCAR themselves has pissed me off several times with their inconsistencies and bad calls. But, honestly, I'm optimistic. NASCAR has already confirmed they are working to try and right, and prevent these concussions from happening as often. And it's still rumored that Goodyear might be bringing some new tires next year, and I hope this is the case. I know NASCAR likes to pride themselves as entertainment, and I know a lot of people just watch it because it's entertaining. And yeah, sure, I want to see good on-track product, but I know that driver safety should be the #1 priority over everything. And we do not have a sport without the drivers, and if the drivers are getting hurt, it's almost not worth it. Because if the drivers are getting hurt, that means you're going to have less and less good drivers. Heck, Kurt Busch's career is now over. But I'm happy. I'm happy that they're working some of these things out. And I'm hoping that next year we don't have to go through a repeat of this. It's because if this keeps on happening, I'm probably done after 2023. But as for my overall rating, despite all the problems late in the year, I'll still rate the season about a 7.5 out of 10. And yeah, sure, the second half was just in the toilet for the most part, right? But the first half, well, gets it to that 7.5, because the Coke 600 was the best race of the season. The Bristol Dirt, probably second best. We had so many good races. Talladega, Nashville, there it is. Worldwide Technology Raceway, COTA, Las Vegas, Atlanta. Like, those are all great races, and that's what kept it there, in the 7.5 range. And if you've made it this far, congratulations, you have made it to the end of the video, this very long video, and I am sorry for all the mistakes I've made in this video. No, if I'm being brutally honest, I've not actually tried to make a video in a little while now, and I've gotten used to making full-on scripts for videos. This is just the second time I've done it, so please forgive me about that, and I do have a speech impediment, so that didn't really help me too much. But congratulations, and thank you for making it this far in this very long video. And again, if you disagree with any of my points, or if I missed something, then please let me know in the comment section. And again, just don't act like a complete fucking jackass in the comment section. Like, again, I do not need that in my life right now, because there's a lot of things that are going on in life, which is kind of what caused this upload to be really hard to make, but that's personal stuff I'm going to keep off the internet. And because you guys don't really need to know a lot about my personal life, that stuff needs to stay off the internet. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all have had a great Christmas, and I hope you guys have a happy New Year. And again, I'm excited for next year. This is, like I mentioned earlier, this is gonna be my final upload of 2022. But I am excited for the new year. Yeah, because I already have some plans on what I'm going to do in the future of this channel. But however, you guys will find out now within the first few days of January. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. This has been, I'm Spherox67. Finn, And I'm signing off for the final time in 2022. Peace out.